Hello.
Hello, Candy.
Hi, Siddharth. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
I hope you're doing well. Thank you for talking with me about your role as Petunia in The Day the Earth Blew Up, a new theatrical Looney Tunes feature.
Yes. I am so pleased. I am really pleased to do this for you. Recording in progress.
So, Candy, how
Yes.
did you come into the role of Petunia in this film? Did you audition, or did Peter Braungart or the voice director already have you in mind?
I don't know if they had me in mind, but what I tell everyone is I audition for everything and I audition every single day for whatever whoever will have me. It's the great equalizer. The days of this being a closed industry, voice acting so closed and nobody can get in and it's who you know, those days are long gone. Um, and I know that I had done a lot of work, especially in Space Jam 2: A New Legacy. I had done some good work there. And so, yes, I know everybody, but not on a personal level, not we don't go to dinner. So it was an audition and I had done two takes. And I had done a take that was the old traditional Petunia Pig, which is very Betty Boop along these lines. And then I had done something closer to my real voice. And when they decided, Warner Brothers Animation decided they wanted to work with me, and I love Pete Brownguard. I think he's brilliant, and Alex Kerwan and Derek Bachman and Michael Rolko and the entire team, as I call them, the Knicks. Um, they are when they decided to work with me, then we collaborated on what we thought the voice should be and what we thought the characterization would be. And Sam Register, who is amazing, really directed the feeling of what they wanted Petunia Pig to be, how they wanted her to sound, and what they wanted me to bring to this character.
Excellent. I was going to ask about that because Petunia Pig is a character that's been around since the 30s and
Mhm.
has had many interpretations over the decades, many different performances. So I was wondering if you had looked back to some of those older performances or if you had developed her character in conversations with Braungart or other members of the production team.
It was more a collaboration with production about how we were going to do this. One of the things that I try not to do um, is do Siddharth, do any of the variations that have come after 1940, after the 50s. I try not to do that because that is another actor's idea. That is another producer, that's another creator's idea of what they wanted. So I can only bring all my characters are a part of me, and I can only bring me into this. But I did go back because it helped me when I voiced Granny and Witch Hazel to go back and listen to the original voices. And I believe that June Foray did not voice Petunia Pig, but I didn't listen to anything from Duck Dodger. I didn't listen to any of that. I went back and then I thought, well, I can voice match that little boop boop be doo, only it hurts. So I don't know if I'll be able to keep it up for an entire film. Um, or I can get closer to my old voice. And we recorded linearly. So we went the I recorded as the film went along. I recorded that. And I think that that was helpful, but I think you can see the character grow. And we would get notes from production, and I would come back and re-record. And yeah, it was a collective. It was really amazing that way. Pete is all over this film, every
That's
aspect.
awesome.
Yeah, he's amazing.
That linear recording process is really interesting. Is that a normal process that you've done in previous recordings or
Yes, and
like
yeah, I think Siddharth, I think it lets the story unfold, and because we're not getting camera angles and camera shots and worried about the light or worried about the weather. We can tell a story and let it unfold. And I find that the best voice directors just let us go, just let it roll, and then clean it up and pick up lines as mistakes are made or if it goes off the rails. So usually that is the way that it goes. But a lot of times when you have an animated film, a lot of times it's live action and animation. So you're not getting anything linear, you're only getting your scenes. And that is not what happened with this. I did not act in in an exact room with Eric, who is a genius, an absolute genius, an absolute genius in this film. I feel very lucky to be in this with him. Um, but we would act together via Zoom so that we could hear each other's read on it. But since we had the pandemic, it's become a very lonely business where we're all recording via Zoom or from our homes or from studios. And I mean, the good news is you can live anywhere and be a part of the community still.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about like how the process of recording this film compared to Space Jam: New Legacy and other theatrical productions you'd been involved in, and
Mhm.
also kind of the back and forth that you had with Eric as you play off each other's characters. Your characters, you guys have a great rapport in this film, and I love how Petunia bounces off of both Porky and Daffy. Were there any moments like working with Eric that you really like discovered a joke or made each other laugh?
Well, I got to watch. Now, Eric, I don't know if I ever made him laugh, but he made me just um like laugh harder than I should have with push the button and pull the lever, which is a scene. That's all I'm going to tell you. That entire scene made me laugh so hard because you saw with Eric two absolutely distinct characters. And what I have to do as the female, um, as a love interest that can never cross between the friendship. I can never come between them. So I can't be a femme fatale. I have to stay in the middle. It was really so wonderful to find where I could slip in, where I could absolutely slip right through the crack and be my funny self. And I thought I had the greatest line in the world when we talked about shatterproof glass, which is in the trailer. And I say, um, do this whole explanation about the force that is needed. And then Porky says something, and I say that that's not shatterproof glass. And I thought that I had it down and that it was the funniest thing, the funniest line in the world until the it breaks and Daffy says, "Mother." And I thought, Eric, I could have had the funniest, one of the funniest lines in the entire. So and then he made me, when I saw it in the theater, I laughed so hard and I thought, you killed my joke, but I gotta give you applause for that one, man, because Mother was perfect.
That is a great scene. I think that's two great performances and jokes that played off each other and built up to just great laughter.
Thank
And
you.
one aspect about your performance as Petunia is that she also has the Porky Pig stutter. And so I was wondering, how was it a process of like figuring out that stutter and also matching Bowser's performance of
Oh,
that?
we did it once together. But for me to come in while he was bouncing characters, Porky to Daffy to Porky to Daffy, I did not, in the process, in production, it did not help that when he was doing both characters for me to slide in. So I matched. They played me the blue mug, and I would match him in my voice, but sometimes I'd slip into literally his pitch and his register, and it just cracked Pete Brownguard and Alex and it just cracked people up. Like it was just like, oh my God, it's hilarious. And I think moviegoers will love to see how Porky got his stutter in the origin story, and all of that is so great. I don't want to give any spoilers, but one day maybe in a part two we'll figure out how Petunia got hers. But they're a little match made in heaven, aren't they? Two little
Yeah.
two little nerds.
They are so cute together. I love the way they bounce off, and the scenes where they both stutter
Yes.
together are very funny.
And it's very cute, and I hope surprising for the audience that it's something that one of the great things that I love about Pete and Alex and all the writing, Michael Rocco and Derek Bachman and everybody, is that they don't telegraph anything. You are constantly surprised by the jokes. You are constantly given Easter eggs, and you're constantly that's what makes it laugh out loud, is that you don't see it coming. It's so out of left field.
Absolutely. Well, I also want to ask if there are any other wild takes or like kind of bits of sounds or performance that like you that were really fun to work on. Like in Petunia's kind of introduction scene in the diner, she's like swishing her coffee and like gargling it and make all sorts of funny noises. So, I mean, how did you accomplish that?
I I just think that when you work in a booth, and we did that at the last, I did a lot at Cartoon Network, um, and we were in there and everybody was on Zoom. They said, she is swilling coffee, swishing it in her mouth. And I just decided to go for the and because I'm not well. So I think that that's funny, and they just allowed me to be larger than life. Welcome to the Luniverse is what I call it. We are here in the Looney Tunes world, and even the female identifying characters are loony. They're just we're all not well, and I love that. Because that's a part of me that when my daughter was really little, I would do anything to make her laugh, but I waited until she had a mouthful of food so that I could get a spit take. And part of that was gargling my coffee. So all I did was remember from decades ago to gargle my coffee rather than swish it in my mouth daintily.
Nice. Were there any other moments in the film where you kind of drew from real life experience and kind of brought in that kind of lived reality into this cartoony world?
I do, and I think that when she tells everybody who the real heroes were, and when she questions Porky about his decisions regarding his and Daffy's friendship, I think that that is sort of a mothering instinct that I have to keep harmony, and I think that I bring that into. I think Petunia had this uh, it's kind of like a cis energy, a big sister energy that she brought in, uh, to make sure that nothing came between um, these two pals.
Yeah. And I think that Petunia plays off of Daffy and Porky really well while
Mhm.
not like interfering necessarily with the dynamic. I mean, the split between Porky and Daffy in this film is not to do with Petunia, but just against with like their own Porky's own like kind of frustration with Daffy over his
Yes,
behavior. And
yes,
so I
exactly.
really appreciated that.
Yeah, and thank you for realizing that, because oftentimes in films the the female is used as a wedge, and it is always to come between, and then they've got to choose, and I'd rather it be insanity than love that breaks them up and or comes between them. And I think that it's great to play sort of a true second banana, a true in comedy it's called the straight man. That Petunia is the straight man in this, and they're both two characters, but they're one character. They are one dynamic, and they're comedic, and I'm the foible. I'm the straight man that comes through and cuts through. So I love that, and I think that it was expertly handled, truly.
I agree. Like, I think this film does for Petunia Pig what the Looney Tunes show did for Bunny. I love that the female characters are just as wacky and loony in modern Looney Tunes productions as the male characters, and I hope they continue forward with this characterization and take on Petunia going forward, and your performance as her.
Thank you. I hope so too. I love what they did to Witch Hazel. I had done Witch Hazel, Miss Prissy, and Granny in Coyote v. Acme, and you can see the change that Warner Brothers has made, and I think that it enhances their properties to have equally funny female characters to be able to bounce off the original Looney Tunes, and I'm just grateful that Catch Up Entertainment has picked this film up and run with it, and I hope that it encourages young people to become voice actors, and especially young girls to become um, voice actors. There's room for everybody.
Absolutely. Candy, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome,
I
Siddhartha. Thank
love talking
you.
to you. Oh, thank you. And I'm excited for everyone to go see the film. I
Yay.
really hope it encourages a great resurgence for 2D theatrical features here and just even more Looney Tunes productions. And I can't wait to hear more of you as all the characters that play in Looney Tunes
Thank
in
you.
future iterations.
The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes film. Come out and support 2D animation hand drawn. We are nothing without this.
Absolutely. Help blow up the box office for this film, everybody. Thank you, Candy.
Thanks, Siddhartha. This was fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Candy.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Julia.
Thank you.
I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, honey. Great questions, by the way, too. Thank you.
Thank you. Great answers.